Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yes.
All right, we have now both hit super intrigued, even as we're going with there's some things that we're kind of like, yeah, about, but intrigued.
Yes.
So color me intrigued. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just sometimes I'm not very used to.
Something.
Oh, it's just something I'm not very used to. That is reading in company with someone. Side-by-side reading.
I see.
Very intimate.
Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything.
That's not what I was concerned about at all. All right.
I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading and company. It's as if I could feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing, maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead.
Sorry. I was just, I could not read that fast. Could you read that?
I was just bathing in the feeling of your body something.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, that was it. It was like, it is getting weirdly sexual.
Right.
I was just,
Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you?
So those kinds of things, I know you're supposed to get the basics of them, but for someone who reads slow like me and has
dyslexia,
an
that's
experience
even
of
worse.
dyslexia, it's like I get the first two words in a bunch of shapes.
Yeah, that did him.
I do. I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean,
Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. The two of them?
The desks. The two of the desks.
Whoa! That
Not
was...
the two of us.
I was like...
This is about the desks. We're not thinking about the girl.
Oh, right.
I suppose so.
Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching.
I am really just like, and the other two just sit there and this is fine, and they don't do anything.
At all.
They're engaged in their own activities, so you can have an isolationist fantasy. That's fine.
Right? It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that kind of makes it difficult to turn the page.
Here. You hold it together.
Right? Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger.
So the classroom is, one, where is the table they're supposed to have made out of desks since we've seen the rest of the classroom? And two, they're either in this tiny little corner over by the door, we assume.
Right.
Or they're gone. And the game is like, bye, yeet. I'm also like, your hair is way too far under your ear. Your ear is not attached to your head.
I know.
The hair just goes right through the ear.
I know. It's fine. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled together even closer than before.
Bonk.
It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I could feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision.
Are you ready? To, turn the page?
Sorry! I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her.
Such side-eye. That's okay. You're not used to reading, right? So you'll be a little slow. I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. I feel like they also worked hard to make her chest smaller in this scene.
I know.
Because they're really like, we've worked really hard to super awkwardly sexualize Sayori, but Yuri has a huge chest based on how we've drawn it with just really exaggerated. And so we've actually made it smaller here.
Right.
Which is funny. It's probably the least I can do. Since you've been so patient with me.
Yeah? Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb.
Feels like regular human interaction, yeah? Intimate, close.
Amazing. Hey, Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but, honey, the main character kind of reminds me of a little bit.
No, I don't relate to this character at all.
They are not my self-insert. I do not kin with them.
Definitely not.
Really? I was just thinking the way she second-guesses things she says and all that.
That's what you were talking about. Right. I was waiting for all the weird stuff later, and you were gonna relate that to me, and then I was gonna feel embarrassed because I would assume you would judge me because, sorry. Really sorry about that. Sorry. I thought you meant something else about her.
Something else?
Never mind. We didn't even get that far yet, so I don't know why that came into my head.
Yuri, are you feeling all right? Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading.
Because I'm not thinking about the fact that we're sitting close together, or that this is all of the things I may have described, or this could be awkward, and that suddenly the rest of the club doesn't exist. What I'm saying is, since we started reading.
Right. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little...
My breathing?
Yuri puts her hands on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
My poor friend sneezing.
This is my heartbeat. Achoo, achoo.
Achoo, achoo. I sneeze in time for this heartbeat. It's very romantic.
Ah, brilliant.
I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water.
All right. Don't push yourself.
Is reading usually like an athletic exercise? Like, is that usually like, is it aerobically intensive?
Yeah.
Is the reason I don't do it because it's a workout? Oh my god.
Brilliant! I hate fucking working out. Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom. What on earth was that about?
A splat? Did, something happen just now?
Huh? I have no idea. Fucking... What?
I'm not actually paying attention to her. I'm just going, is this how the humans do the interaction?
Wow.
Also, it's kind of obnoxious to have to read a book and think about her all the time, but if that's how it goes and you get the girl, then the thing, I guess.
Right? Yuri was acting a little strange, I guess.
So, you don't know anything?
Sorry, I can't say I do. Are you worried about her?
No. No, not really. I was just making sure that you didn't do anything to her, you know?
No. Nothing. What? Ew.
Don't worry. I believe you. Silly. After all, I was watching you the whole time. I mean, Yuri just does this sometimes. It's nothing alarming.
All right, if you say so.
Anyway, why don't we start with sharing our poems with each other while she's gone, so she won't be a part of it, eh?
Shouldn't we wait for Yuri?
Well, she might be a while, so I just figured we'd get started without her. Is that okay? I do kind of make all the decisions around here.
Yeah, I was just asking. Fine, whatever. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag.
Because I don't believe in bookmarks.
Who should I sell my poem to first? Natsuki or Monika? Well, it's time to fucking repeat and rinse again.
Rinse and repeat.
Where we
Monika
go with
first.
Monika? I should start with Monika. Yesterday, she seemed eager to read my poem, and I want her to know I'm putting in an effort.
Look at me. I'm really part of your club that belongs to you.
Here you go, honey.
Aha, Splat. Having a good time so far? Did you have a good time with, Yuri?
Yeah.
Good. So glad to hear it. Glad you're not feeling uncomfortable.
Why
or
are you fucking
unnerved,
not engaging with my poem, honey?
Or a little,
honey?
Concerned. Or you haven't noticed anything.
Honey?
I'm so glad.
Honey?
By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities that aren't this activity, or things we can do better, because we're never going to tell you to do better, but things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay?
All right. I'll keep that in mind, I guess. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. Oh my god, I'm much better off just going off with the flow until I'm more settled in. Also, I literally don't care.
And if I bring
I've never
anything up,
cared.
there will be a lot more.
Talking!
Oh my god.
Badges, please!
Anyway, want to share your poem with me?
It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to.
Don't worry, Splat. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know, every one of us. See how I'm blushing a little bit too? But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. So no one will have any shame, any embarrassment, any secrets.
Yeah, that's true. Hang on, my nose is running. Woo!
Oh, no.
And, I hand Monika my poem.
A great job, Splat. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. Isn't this exactly what I said last time you wrote a poem for Yuri? Sorry. I'm just not sure why. But I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I thought you'd be more like a teaspoon. I guess I underestimated you and your lack of interest in literature.
It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low because then fucking hell, man, when I rip roar, you will be swinging.
When I do anything, then you think it's really good.
You will be done. All right, that way, it always counts when I put in some effort.
That's not very fair. I mean, that's a little bit of like a grift, isn't it? You're kind of hustling us with your skills, just like when you cheat in pool. All right, well, I guess it worked anyway, didn't it? I was impressed. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? I mean, I met her yesterday.
Yeah.
Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Sometimes I feel like Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. I don't mean that like it's a bad thing, though. But sometimes I get the impression that she's just totally given up on people. She spends so much time in her own head that it's probably a much more interesting place for her. You should know that she's just about antisocial and that she's so deep in her own fantasy world, she may not even understand what reality's like and therefore may not have good separation of reality and fiction in her actions and her behaviors toward people. But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I treat her with a ton of kindness myself. I don't think she's used to being indulged like that. You're not actually just, doing something nice for her because you want to. You indulge in her, just so you know. I appreciate that you indulge all of us. She must really be starved for social interaction, to just take whatever she can get. So don't blame her for coming on a little strongly, all right? Like earlier. I think if she gets too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for alone time. What she is an introvert, really.
Suddenly the door opens.
Yuri! I'm back. Did I miss anything? Not really, not at all. No, we weren't even talking about you. Well, I mean, we all started sharing our poems with each other, but we didn't actually succeed yet. Already? I'm sorry for being late.
And Natsuki does not exist. Natsuki has no opinions about this, isn't involved, there's nothing.
Nope, nothing. This
God,
is amazing.
it's wild.
The imbalance of character presence is like, I want it to be purposeful, but it doesn't feel like it. It just feels like, well, we're focusing on these ones.
Yep.
No need to apologize. I just explained the whole situation. We still have plenty of time, so I'm more glad that you took all the time you needed. All right. Thanks, Monika. I suppose I should get my poem now. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You know how you said I was the best at everything and the top of everything and the most of everything? I'm not very good.
You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good.
Oh, well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, Just because I'm the only one that knows what's really going on doesn't mean I'm actually self-assured.
Or happy about it either.
I
see. Well, let's read it then. Hole in the wall. But he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glanced at my surroundings, but my burned eyes can no longer see color. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper, the sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears? The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen.
You sound like you just wrote the experience we just had with Yuri.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
Pretty much.
But also, that's fascinating. Because, You haven't spent any time with us yet.
Nope.
And there's no other boys in this game.
Or
there's no other people.
I wonder if there's some level, basically, of actually, like, Monika being super frustrated, going, like, I want to date or be romanced by the main character. Like, there is a thing where people talk about the stereotype of basically the helper character in visual novels that I've heard about.
The support character, the buddy bro character, the wingman character.
The one who never gets to be involved. And
who never is involved with anyone else either. And they've oftentimes, there's been a lot of thoughtful, like, examination of essentially the queer coding and messaging in that kind of stereotype.
Oh, yeah.
Of I'm absolutely 100% here to support you, to encourage you, to build you up, but I'm never, and to drive you towards relationships and help you with them, but I'm never involved with anybody else.
Right, and that's actually, the reason why we say queer coding is because on average, based on my understanding, it's usually the assumed same gender experience of the helper character as your main character is supposed to be.
That's usually how it is.
Yeah.
I would just say, in this case, it's not, but she does feel like she's been pigeonholed into the helper character. In this case, which would be the, thank you for that distinction, though.
Yeah.
The essentially expositional character or the tutorial character.
Right.
So she doesn't get to do other stuff.
All right, well, here we go.
So, what do you think?
It's a very freeform, if that's what you call it. I guess. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback.
That sounds like a cop-out, but, it's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. Rhyming is really, childish, if you know what I mean. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines and how you read them and where you pause. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful.
What was the inspiration behind this one?
Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. So I wrote from Sayori's point of view. Oh,
right.
It's been influenced my poems a bit. That it really could be I would like to be romanceable, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I kind of like that interpretation.
Right, an epiphany?
Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, maybe if you want to get real dark, you could assume that I'm trial testing you on every other girl before I eliminate them all, and then, you'll be ready for me because I'll know who you are and what you like, and I won't be able to fail the way they all did.
Right.
Here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you write a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on paper and tidy it up later.
This sounds really familiar. I think this is just basically the similar rehash, I think.
It could be. On the other hand, it's like, try not to drive too hard for the exact same thing every single time.
Yeah.
If you just go for Yuri or anything else. Though I was thinking that sort of like the last one, since I don't know if it actually affects the ending, since the wiki, unfortunately, told me that it was absolutely going to end the way it did.
Right.
In that first round. I'm like, I don't know how much the various rounds affect each other.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And so I'm like, I'm kind of like, I was kind of thinking it'd be fun to do one completely towards Natsuki next, just to confuse things.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. Go complete pendulum swing, which sounds very much like Splat anyway.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So, just move your hands and go with the flow. Don't think too hard about it.
Oh, please, honey.
That's my advice for today. Don't think too deeply. There's nothing deep going on here. Thanks for listening.
Sure.
Well,
who should I show my poem to next?
I was going to say, Natsuki is vice president. Or no, Yuri's
vice president.
Yuri's vice president, so we'd need to go with her next, wouldn't we?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it would need to be Yuri.
So let's go to yours. All right, as Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten.
Exceptional.
What was that? Excuse me.
Did I say that out loud?
Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face.
He's going to hate me.
I
just read your thoughts again.
You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri.
That's, I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for?
Yuri takes a breath.
Mm-hmm. Is everything twisting again?
No, it's not.
Okay, I was just like, I'm watching for it.
Yeah, no,
So, what kind of writing experience do you have?
Well, we don't know, because we're going to find out the
Next
one!
one!
Ah!
Yay!
Wow, this is intriguing. This is not what I was expecting. And I'm sorry I don't have really much to add to this, because I'm like, okay, now this is more just kind of going along with the experience, because I'm just like, I already know Splat is an asshole. Splat doesn't care.
Yeah,
We're
and
good.
it's just getting worse.
It is.
Starting to read people's minds, though. We did have that one weird one last time with Natsuki.
Right.
Where we're like, is that thinking or is that talking?
Right.
And if now that we definitely just read Yuri's mind,
yeah.
like, is that going to be a thing that's going to come into this? I'm curious about that.
It'll be interesting. All right, well, thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us.
Yeah.
Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. I got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I know I push this every now and then, but sharing our videos with anyone that you think might enjoy them or pointing them towards our series or anything really does help us get exposure. So we have, as far as I can tell, a different brand of doing things, a different way of approaching stuff.
Yeah.
But if you think of anyone who might like it or who might have some thoughts on it, you would feel comfortable pointing them in our direction, we would love that. And I have been Liz.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!